Hey guys, so I have been playing Super Mario Galaxy 1 plus 2 for a little bit now. Technically just Galaxy 2, but I'm sure most of the changes, aside from some new additions, also apply to Galaxy 1. But I wanted to give my thoughts on it, since this was a fairly controversial release, because it is $70 and $40 for each game. I think it is kind of crazy, and I think a lot of that backlash is kind of justified, because I really feel like this should have been $50 at most, because both of these games were $20 on the Wii U, and these are also 15 to 20-year-old games, so it's just kind of crazy that, like, they're selling them for this much with not too many changes. I would say they did change a little more than the things that they've changed in 3D All-Stars, but still, 3D All-Stars was also kind of steep as well, in my opinion, but, the price is just pretty unfortunate. I would say, like, probably find an alternative if you want to play these games, like if you have a Wii or something. If you absolutely want to play Galaxy 2, or, like, Galaxy 1 even, on your Switch or Switch 2 and don't really have any alternatives, or don't have access to a powerful PC, if you want to do a certain other method of playing these games, then I would say this is a perfectly good remaster of Galaxy 1 and 2. These games are excellent. Some of my favorite games of all time, especially Galaxy 2. And I feel like these remasters definitely keep everything intact. I mean, yeah, it's the same game, but they really didn't, like, ruin or botch anything here, like, as much as people want to point out, like, a simple, like, texture change. Also, that one image that was floating around about, like, that one metal texture that was changed, I looked at that on stream, and it turns out that was just the lighting that made it look weird, because I zoomed into it. And it, like, I changed the camera, and it's basically the same texture, just, like, higher resolution. So, I would say, for the most part, like, the texture changes are pretty good. It got a pretty good visual update here. Yeah, sometimes the lighting can be a bit off in some areas, and I really hope that gets fixed, especially due to the price of this. But I would say, like 90% of the time, this looks great on the Switch 2. Like, especially, like, it's probably looks pretty good on the Switch 1 as well, because, I mean, like, this is, like, just a Wii game that's running at a higher resolution with better textures, but, 4K on the Switch 2 looks great. It looks really good here. I'm not sure if it's, like, upscaled 4K. It probably is, considering it would probably be hard to get, I don't know, it is partially emulation, partially a port, kind of like how 3D All-Stars was handled. Most likely 1440p, upscaled to 4K, but either way, it looks really good on Switch 2. I don't really have any complaints about the visuals. I think it looks about as I expect it to look, so I think it looks pretty good overall. In terms of new additions, I would say it does do a little more than 3D All-Stars, because 3D All-Stars was really just, like, the games, like, enhanced a little bit in the soundtrack. This also has the soundtrack as well, but this also has the new storybook chapters. I actually haven't had a chance to read them yet. Once I unlock them, I'll read them, but that is a really cool addition, especially since it addresses one of the only complaints that I have with Galaxy 2, with the fact that that game didn't really have a story and lore. Now it does. Now they've also kind of, like, expanded upon Lubba as well, since they confirmed that she's actually a woman. They also added a backstory for Lubba, which is also really cool. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. Like I said, I haven't seen the storybook yet, but it's still really cool. And just the fact that they kind of expanded upon, like, the one thing people wanted from Galaxy 2 is nice. So I would say that is definitely better than 3D All-Stars there. They also added assist mode, which I personally don't really care about, since it literally just gives you, like, a life mushroom throughout the entire game. Like, it's the easy mode, so I don't really care about that much, though it is nice for younger players that it is there. I have no problems with easy modes. I think it's fine that, like, there's a more accessible option for people. And weirdly enough, Amiibo are also supported. I mean, yeah, we knew that this game was getting figures and everything, but I just think it's very interesting that they updated this game to get Amiibo support. It's kind of similar to how Skyward Sword HD got Amiibo support. They just randomly added Amiibo support into, like, a slightly remastered Wii game. It's just kind of funny. And in terms of, like, this is a very kind of small random thing, but the menus also kind of appear like, it's like HD versions of, like, the original menus from the Wii games, which I really like. Because a lot of modern games, like even including 3D All-Stars, kind of had oversimplified, just very basic menus. So it's really nice seeing a kind of 2000s-esque looking menu. Again, this is a very minor thing, but I really appreciate that style coming back, or that style at least being preserved here. I'm glad they didn't, like, shoehorn in, like, some, like, unfitting, like, kind of oversimplified kind of UI into the game. I kind of appreciate that they did that. One thing that some people were a bit critical of was the font change to, like, the modern Mario font. I personally think it's fine. I kind of like the modern Mario font, and I like that they're making things consistent. And also, Galaxy 2 was, like, the first time they ever used that font. It was, like, on the spine of, like, the actual, like, box. So I think it's fine that they're using it there. However, there are some weird changes as well. Like, the bank toad, like, no longer has a function, like, which is really weird because you can't move your star bits in between files now, and, like, you can't store them, so you're just gonna have to, like, get up to, like, 900 or 9,999 star bits, like, just with your regular star bit count to unlock the perfect run. That's just pretty weird. I don't know why they did that, so it's just pretty weird. And then you also can't use Mii's as the save icon in either game. They also did that in 3D All-Stars as well, but that still is no excuse. It is pretty disappointing since that was a thing that was in the original game. But overall, I would say it's a pretty good remastered, just not worth the price. It's just pretty unfortunate because, like, Nintendo is offering, like, a way for people to play, like, Galaxy 1 and 2, but they're just, like, they're trying to get them as much money out of it as they can, as they usually are. And it kind of wraps around back to that point that I bring up sometimes about Nintendo no longer being an affordable, like, gaming company or a gaming alternative. Like, this is, like, only this $70 collection for both of these is only $10 cheaper than what they, like, sold the 2DS with Mario Kart 7 with for back in the late 2010s. So, like, an entire handheld console with a game was only $10 more than this. I know, like, there's also, like, inflation involved as well, but the thing is, like, wages aren't increasing with inflation, so that's like another thing to keep in mind. But that's a whole other discussion that I've already kind of, like, talked about in other videos. But yeah, I would say overpriced, but still a very competent and fairly good remaster, I would say. Definitely still a good way of playing these games. But yeah, so anyways, let me know what you think of these games down in the comments. And anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. And make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!